What's up, people? It's me working on this drawing. He doesn't have a head. It's okay. I promise he will one day. So today I'm talking about the opposite of art block because that's what I have going on. It's too many ideas. So many ideas. And it's awesome. But at the same time, it's really overwhelming and I'm trying to figure it out. So basically, I realized last night, like, the reason that this is happening and feels so new to me is because this series is the longest I've ever worked on something. So I've been working on this for 8 months now. Like, I started this series in January of this year. It's August, and I knew that it would take me a really long time. I had planned to spend the whole year on this and, probably into next year too. Like, who knows how much time? A lot, though. I knew that. But what I forgot to anticipate was that in that time, even though this is like, I'm so excited about this and I'm so into it, I have other ideas. Like, other ideas have come to me in that time, and they're also really exciting and also going to be long-term things that require a lot of attention. And it started to make me feel overwhelmed because I was like, how am I going to devote like all of my creative energy to 2 or 3 extremely long-term projects? Like, that's new for me. And so yeah, that was new for me, and it was freaking me out a little bit because I don't want to do that thing where I overwhelm and overwork myself trying to commit to a bunch of things and then end up like dropping everything. I'm trying to make it so you guys can see this. That works. Because that's happened to me in the past where I'm like very excited about something and then I have another idea and then I get so hyped about the new idea that the old idea starts to seem stupid and then I just end up hating both of them, or I like rush them both. I don't want to do that. Like, I'm too old for that. I'm too wise for that now. I like to think so anyway. Because this project is really important to me. And I don't want to lose track of that. I don't want to lose the passion that I have for it by making it more stressful than it needs to be. And I feel, feel mixed feelings about saying that because working on something isn't supposed to be fun all the time, but it also doesn't need to be harder than it needs to be. Like, I don't need to make it more difficult. I have such a way with words. So I started journaling about it and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna list out everything I want to do, and that'll help me decide, like, is this a fleeting interest or is this something that I really do want to spend months, possibly years cultivating? And that helped a lot because there were some things that I was like, yeah, like, that's something cool, but it's not something that I'm super passionate about. Like, if I don't get to it in the next like year or two, I'm not gonna feel like I'm letting myself down. But this series, like, if I were to like stop working on this for like any amount of time, I would feel like angry with myself. I'd be like, why'd you do that? Why'd you stop? Like, that was really going somewhere. But there's other ideas I've had, like, the girls with the bouquets and the rain cloud heads. Like, I want to do a series of those. Haven't worked on those in a while because I've been more focused on this and like other things. But I don't feel like upset about not doing that. Like, I don't feel like a creative avenue is wilting because of that. Because it's not, honestly, it doesn't take as much effort as this. And I could, so I don't feel bad not doing it, and I guess I also just don't feel like as emotionally invested in those, they're not as meaningful to me. I like them. Don't let that dissuade you from liking them. I really like them, but this is like something that I've been wanting to do for years. So of course I'm going to be more excited about it. And so I think I'm telling myself it's okay to put other things to the wayside. Like, I struggle a lot with not feeling productive enough. Like, I like to do everything. I want to feel like I can do everything. So telling myself, like, it's fine if you don't do that right now. It feels weird to say, but that's where I'm at. Another example is like streaming on Twitch. Like, I really like doing that. I would love if someday that became like a big thing and I got really popular and like really good at it, but it's also not like top tier important to me right now. So I was like, Allison, you cannot beat yourself up if you're not like streaming every single week or every single day, because that's not the thing that you're trying to build into. Like, that's not the thing I'm trying to build right now, you know? So it's really just, I've been finding like where I should spend my energy and my focus, and allowing myself to be okay with not putting energy into other things, if that makes sense. As I stipple this shoulder, I'm telling you, I think the weirdest thing about stippling, to like pivot topics for a minute, is the different pressure you have to put to get the shading. Like the highlights take more effort than the shadows, and it feels like it shouldn't be that way, but to get it light, it's like I have to hit the pen on the paper in just the right way, and if I do just like 2 of them wrong, it messes up the whole thing. It's crazy. Like, who came up with this? I love doing it, but oh my gosh. I don't even understand. This feels supernatural to me. But I'm feeling excited about like having that realization. That sounds so fake deep, but honestly, like, it was stressing me out having all these things that I wanted to do and feeling like time spent on one was time taken away from another. So organizing the priority and figuring out like which ones won't make me feel like a failure if I don't do them has been really good for my peace of mind. Like, for example, videos. Like, I took a little break from doing like the rooting for the villains and like videos in general, because I was feeling like I want to spend that energy working on other things. And that was fine, and I got a lot done, and I'm in a good place, but I missed doing these videos a lot. Like, I missed even just seeing them. Like, when I would check Instagram, I missed knowing that, like, ooh, I posted like a thing, I wonder what people thought of it. And I missed like the interactions, like when I do the lives of like having like a weekly conversation with 5 or 6 people about bad movies. Like, those are really fun. And it does, like, it's challenging sometimes finding like the time to do it, or like, you know, just even setting up and figuring out like how I want it to look or what I want to say or whatever. But not doing it, I was like, it was like a little experiment. I was like, okay, I'm gonna not do them for a couple weeks and see like if I feel good after not doing them. Like, will I feel refreshed and invigorated, and like, will it make such a huge difference creatively for me, or will I just feel like, wow, I wish I had done them? And it ended up being the latter. Like, I think taking 1 week away, I definitely needed to like refresh and whatever. But after that second week, I just started to feel like, why am I not doing this? I like to do it. I miss doing it. Whereas like, if I don't stream on Twitch or draw the bouquet flower girls, I don't feel that feeling. I just feel like, oh, I'll get to it later. So So, priorities, Hermione Granger, Ron Weasley, I did it. I got my priorities in order. I think it's interesting too, like, this is really the only thing I want to work on, but sometimes I do hit a point where I'm like, I don't want to stipple today. Like, I want to do something else, and I feel a lot better now about putting this down and working on a different project, like a collage or something. I feel more confident doing that and knowing that I won't just like completely end up dropping this, because there were totally times, like especially in college, where I would be so hype about a project and then I would start working on something else and then I'd come back to the first thing and I'd be like, I hate this actually, this sucks. And I feel like that's not happening anymore because I'm better at like listening to myself and following through with ideas and bringing them to fruition. It's like, you know, hard as an artist, I guess, for me. I'm not going to speak for all artists. But that was a little realization. It wasn't little. That was the realization I had. I have to work on that downplaying when I talk about things. And look, I know it's been about 11 minutes. I don't think it looks like I did a lot, but that was probably 6 or 7 billion stipples. Really, it was probably like 300. So I made some progress. I'm pretty much done with the highlights, and now I don't have to stress as much. I know not everyone works this way, but for me, I'm pivoting again. Like labeling, you can't really see it, but no, you really can't see it. But I have like pencil labels of like where the shadows and highlights are, and it has made such a difference. I think that's another reason I've been able to like come back to this after taking time away from it without feeling totally overwhelmed when I come back to it. So that's been good. Oops. That's my video. I'll talk to you guys later.